Hi, I'm Marnie Pearson-Coons with CreationGirl.com. Are you struggling in some way in your life, looking for answers, looking for solutions to perplexing problems? You may have searched online for the answers. You may have read books. You may have turned to scriptures to try to find answers. And yet you still might be struggling in some way. In our lives, in modern era, we turn to set ways of finding answers. But very few of us today turn to the world around us, to nature. The ancient Christian Celtic people believed that there were two books of scripture. There were the Bible there and the big book of nature. That nature had sacred answers. That nature itself was sacred, that the earth was sacred, that the animals, the plants, the trees, the shrubs, everything was sacred and was channeling the divine, that God was coming through them. He was broadcasting through them and bringing wisdom and answers and understanding. Now, if you go back to when Jesus first came and he had his earthly ministry there, he always spoke in parables. I was reading in Mark the other day and just going through it, just the number of parables, just in a few short chapters, really was astonishing. And he only spoke in parables to many of the people, and then he would explain it over here to his disciples, but largely what we have are parables, and they don't really have a lot of explanation. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't. So it left it to you to interpret. And you to get the answer that's right for you. And any parable could be interpreted in a different way every time, right? Well, nature is one big repository library of parables. These two stones, for example, this is called a prophecy stone and this is called malachite. Both of these stones start out as one or two elements that then are overtaken by a new element and transformed in some way. Their properties transformed, but they still look the same. I mean, they have the same shape as they originally did, but now they're composed of something completely different. They're called pseudomorphs. These stones, for example, are a perfect parable of how Christ comes into our life and infuses us, and we are changed. I look like the same person, but Christ has changed my heart. I'm now a different person. I act a different way. I have different properties. And the more he infuses me, the more he transforms me. And I'm still me. I still have my own shape and form. I still have my personality. I'm not going to change on those elements. But he's changing the way I interact with the world and with people. And he can do that for you as well. I found these stones when I had a question. How do I let God make me more loving? How do I get him to help me be more compassionate and non-judgmental and more loving of people around me, whether they think or believe or look or feel the same way that I do about life or have had any similar experiences? And the answer he gave me, part of it, came from observing his creations. Creation Girl is all about observing the creations of God, and I'm documenting what I learn. Now, just like the parables that Jesus told, they may have one meaning, but they could have like hundreds of other meanings. And so I hope what I'm doing here is inspiring you to look for the symbolisms in your environment. What are the birds that you saw this morning telling you? What did that deer that crossed your path, what does it teach you about life? What about that sunflower and how it follows the sun? What is it teaching you? All of nature is teaching us how to live our lives. And we're so busy, and I'm probably the world's worst, one of the world's worst, at having my head in technology. I've been doing online business since 1994. I have been sitting in front of a computer teaching people since 1990. Technology, it's important. It's a great gift, and it's a great way to convey the things that we learn and our messages, but it's not the only source of information. You could look all day on social media and never find the answer to the really yearning soul questions of your heart. Like, how do I have more joy? How do I be more loving? How do I get along better with this teenager that I'm trying to raise? These questions, they're unique to you. What works for me may not work for you, and that's why the parables are so powerful. And nature is one huge, humongous parable and symbolic repository of information and knowledge and wisdom that you can apply to your situation today. Please visit me at creationgirl.com, where I'm documenting what I'm learning. And you can get on my email list there and have them sent to your email box if that works for you. And then the video portions will be posted here on my YouTube channel. Take care and God bless.